right, I'm going to share with you some survey that is conducted by National Youth Service, National Youth Survey. Well, they have made a done a survey over 35, more than 35 youth participated, aged 15 to 34. And in their survey, of course, they have a list of questions. But one of them that kind of stand out is that youth desire to have a place of their own. Besides that, they value strong family ties. Yeah. Okay. So that's good. And there's also another survey, not part of the same survey. One of the things that they pick it up is this, right? When coaches, who will the youth turn important persons when making important life decisions? We see here that these stats collected is the important persons will be their parents, right? And mom comes in the first place, but dad is catching up. But I think there isn't a competition here, huh? So the whole idea is really that when youth comes to important decisions, they recognize important persons, their parents, their families. So that is key, right? So let's not lose hope, parents, wherever you are. That's something that we can support one another in. All right. Okay, so are you ready? Is everyone doing good? Okay, give me a thumbs up. Are you all doing good? Okay, because I'm going to go in to talk about keys to better connection with youth, right? So it's LUV. So well, we all know that most of I guess most of us, or maybe some of us, are essential workers. Actually, I would love to be the essential workers because my work is so important. But I can work from home, so I've been actually working from home for the past, I think, since February. That's quite a long time. And one of the frustrations, so like we work from home and then our meetings is on Zoom. And one of the frustrations that I often face will be this particular sentence that's popping up. Okay, if you can, maybe you can type out, what do you think is the frustrating, what do you think is my frustrating sentence that's always pop up a line? Okay, you can key in to do that, huh? Right, so I don't know what's yours. I'm trying to read. Anyone type any message to stay connected with me. Right, so the sentence that always appear on my desktop when I was on a meeting on Zoom is this: your internet connection is unstable. Then we'll freeze, and then some of my colleagues will start saying, let it go, because we're all frozen, right? And then some usual Zoom greetings that we are very familiar with will be, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Oh, because you didn't unmute yourself. So so you get frustrated when we cannot communicate or we cannot stay connected with one another. You feel that frustration in our workplace. I hope that in these sessions that we have, let me see. Okay, we can learn how to stay connected with the youth. So to build and strengthen family relationship, and also to build faith at home, we need to upgrade, okay, to a better connection. Okay, I must say God is the best connection. Here we are because we are learning our communication skills, right? So I do want to encourage you. We need to upgrade ourselves to a better connection. So it's LUV, listen and listen. Okay. So communications, I think that's really a foundation for us to take note of. We all learn that when we communicate, it's more than just words, right? Because there is this body language. So depending, like for example, if I talk to you, you will see like my body posture. I'm learning to work with you, and I communicating to you that please stay connected with me. Some of you are on video, I can't see you, but hopefully my tone can connect with you. That's very exciting, to when we engage youth or when we parent teens, right? Yeah, and only 8% are actually words. So when we communicate, that's important. That's for us to take note as our background, right? Okay, this is your time to participate, but let me begin with, okay, this one I'll skip this. But basically, as I shared earlier, my mom, when she says some of these sentences, as I grow older, I know that she cares. And I was much more in the when I was younger, because of body language, the tone she communicated, just encouraged me to rebel. Not a very good example, but yep. Okay, right. So the first L is actually listen, right? So what do you think children and parents say most about one another? Okay, the thing that children or teenagers say most about their parents. What do you think is it? Okay, go ahead and type in the chat group. All right. Oh dear, hey, what about that? Now you say mom always nag, right? Yeah, how about that? Oh my gosh. Okay, right. But the response, keep it coming. Okay, so one of the very common phrase that the children will respond is, "My parents never listen to me." Okay, let's be fair and let's listen to the parents. What do you think the parents would say most about their kids? Oh, some of you saw my notes. Oh, yes, they say the same thing. They never listen to me too. Right. So how then do we listen? Right? It's a common thing. How then do we listen? So now we are having understand the really the framework, the knowledge of how we do communicate, not just words. Tone has a certain percentage, but our body cues are very key. So the question I ask is, do we when we listen to our youth in the youth ministry, or when we listen to our youth at home, do we listen? I mean, we often listen with our ears, right? Okay, this is what they are saying. Okay, the tone is a bit edgy. Okay, something must have happened. But do we also listen with our eyes? Because the youth may be sharing, the young person may be sharing something, and the eyes teared. Maybe the and why it shared, it may be tearing because of whatever reason. So there is a need to observe. How about their facial expression? Observing their body language. Do we listen with our mouth closed? Okay, this one I have some problems. Many a time, I'm guilty. Okay, I'm not sure whether my kids are watching now. But I want to confess guilty that many a times I don't listen with my mouth closed. So because I enjoy a robust interaction, I felt engaging youth, it should be robust. So when they share something, I'll tend to jump into conversations. I felt that they don't know about this. I need to offer my opinions. Or, this is the right point for me to quote a verse and put it in. Or it could, and often I will hijack the conversations. And then I will tell them, girls, you are not listening to me. Okay, so the strange thing is they actually approach me because they want me to listen to them. But now I was like, girls, you're not listening to me. So I think it's so important as we listen, we do want to listen with our whole being. Right. So why don't you type in the text box, share some suggestions that you find that these are the positive ways of listening to a young person. Okay, go ahead. Some of you say, oh, very good, listen about heart. Some of them may say that I need to have eye contact when I talk to them. Okay, go ahead and text, because when you text that, you are sharing your experiences, and it's just not me. We are really learning it together. And I know that you are practitioner because you have teens at home and you're working with the youth industry. Yeah, so that's right. So yeah. So some of the cues, so these are some words that you can say to cue in a conversation. You could tell me, can you tell me more? Well, I really want to listen or hear your viewpoint. And then pause, okay? Yeah, or, oh, I see. I'll be genuine about it, huh? Yeah, and of course, the eye contact, nodding of the head and leaning forward. Now, this aspect of listening, while it is a common, how you say like, hey, it's common sense, but it requires very intentional approach. Why? Because when we talk to our kids, we are saying that you are very important to me. Okay, the kids will always ask, is my 100% with me? So the question is, we want to turn the hearts of our children to us, and being an adult matured person, I think I should be in the position ready to turn my heart to my kids. And when they come to me and they want me to listen, I want to give them that 100%. All right, it's meal time. So our family do have a rule. We are often trying to keep it, and staying sane, right? Yeah, so it's every time during meal time, even when they're young adults now, we told them, please girls, don't bring a phone or any electric gadget to the table because we want to listen to the right. So you may have some house rule as well. Okay, so when our young person comes to us, I don't want to go to school, right? He's not saying I don't want to go to school, but he can be having different emotions inside. Or I don't take my O level this year, or there's some things they ask me to do. Okay, one typical could be I don't want to attend the family service with you online. I want to attend another service. So, how would you react or respond, right? So they may be communicating something to us. So let's listen. Okay, so I saw it lah. Wow, time fast flew past, and I'm only at L. Okay, right. So this is a resource that you can consider in a search institute. I'm going to move a bit faster, so that I could save some time for interaction. So yeah, if you're not familiar with, especially those working in the youth ministry, this is actually good resource place to tap on. Such institute actually does a lot of applied research on youth development, focusing on how you can develop positive relationship, behaviors, motivations. Yeah. So one of the tools that they have is called Developmental Relationship. There are 5 elements to it. One of them said take time to listen. So you realize that listen is actually very key and foundation. Okay, I'm going to run. Please run with me. I hope you're all staying all right. Okay, the next one is what's going on, because we do not just listen. We also want to understand the situation. So what exactly is going on? So we know that when we work with you, sometimes when they say certain thing, it is not that topic they're talking about. There are some struggles or situations they are facing. So I think what's really going on is really let us be mindful that teens themselves are going through different developmental challenges. Okay, physical developments, right? From a young boy in primary school, and suddenly the voice changed and become pause. What's happening. They're also dealing with identity. Who am I? So sometimes when they test boundaries, they're just saying that, okay, my independence, right? I can do something. Now, will my parents allow me, trust me enough to do something? So these are some of the teens development that we do want to bear in mind, especially when we hear them as well. Okay, so I think in this aspect, one of the questions we want to ask ourselves will be, am I providing a safe space, right? So they come to you, am I 100%, with them, listening to them, and then when they really share what's going on, then the question we ask ourselves, am I providing a safe space, which means it's non-judgmental. They can vent out their frustration to me. They don't have to be clean and proper and be very polite while they're struggling inside. This is a safe space. So I think probably in this period of COVID, not just all of us feeling the unrest, uncertainty, frustration, but our young people are going through different challenges as well. Imagine cooking out at home, not able to hang out with their friends. So they may have their frustration. So let's provide a safe space for them, right? So I'm going to do a activity, right? How much time do I have? Let me just, okay, good. I'm running good on time. Okay, we can do this activity, and I'd like to do that with you. Okay, so we have talked about listening. We have also talked about understanding, so that we don't just hijack and say, hey, okay, I hear you already. I understand what you're saying. I provide this solution for you. I want to troubleshoot. I want to solve this for you. You don't need, let's just get this over quickly. Okay, so the use not necessarily wants you to settle problems or to troubleshoot, but they do want you to understand. Okay, so this is a scenario. I would like you to type in your chat box. So your child came to you, okay? Maybe your son, your daughter, and my best friend wants to dye her hair pink during school holidays. Okay, what would be your response? Wow, I see some of you are really applying what we are learning. Cool. Okay, that's interesting. What do you think? Nice color. Ooh, okay. Wow, can I try that too? Okay, that's a very good strategy. Okay. So imagine if your daughter asks you this, and your response is, "What's wrong with her black hair? Are you dyeing your hair pink too?" Wow. I just wonder how would the conversation goes. Okay, so the child will probably reply, "Not me, mom, it's my friend. Anyway, her friend won't let her." Trouble with you, kid, is that you are like sheep, just follow each other and don't think of consequences. I never thought of dyeing my hair pink. I'm telling you now, don't you ever dye your hair pink. Okay, I can assure you, okay, that will be the end of conversation. Okay, so this actually happens to me, and I am very tempted to say all this. Okay, but okay, the Lord grant me and my husband some wisdom, and yeah, so I was able to respond differently. So yeah, one of my daughter came and approached us, say that now that I finished my O level, it was such a stressful time. Do you I can dye my hair? I would like to. And we're listening to her. I say, like some of you say, right? Tell me more. But at the back of my mind, right, I had all these questions. What's wrong with her? What's wrong with your hair? Do you know how expensive is it to dye your hair? And the chemical, the damage is going to be your hair and your head scalp. What are you going to do about it? But I think the Lord kind of got wisdom. Actually, my husband was okay. So I don't put my husband in. So we actually had a discussion and we can't think through think we are hearing. She wants some sort of independence, a life transition from a level confined in a school environment, in school uniform, and now she's able to go tertiary. A sign of, maybe it's a sign of independence. And of course, the situation is 3 months, before she starts school. So the situation is reversible. We told her about the consequences, her through, and that's where we felt that okay, this is it's a low risk lah. Okay, she's not asking for us things, and she's coming to talk to us about it. So different family would probably have your different homes ground rules, depending on your relationships. And I think as parents, right, you often hear this phrase, right, pick your battles, and always find teaching moments to encourage them. Okay, so that episode, yeah. Okay, listen. I want to tell my kids, I'm 100% for you. I want to understand you, and I want to provide a safe space for you, non-judgmental, and I'll hear you. But the conversation doesn't end there actually, because the next one is quite powerful. It's called validate. Okay, so the youth are always asking this question. I think it's part of the teen development. You're always asking, am I loved? What's my identity? So I mean, many of you are, okay, not many of you, but you have been a youth before, and this will really be some of the things that we have gone through personally ourselves too. So I recall an incident. One day I decided to pop into one of my girls' room. She was taking one of her major exams, and as I go in, I just wanted to like checking whether she's okay. How can I pray for her? She suddenly burst into tears. So that caught me out of surprise, and she asked me this question: will you love me if I flunk my exams? Okay, so I have two types of response, right? Okay, I don't know how we're going to respond to this. If you imagine you are with me in this situation, okay, feel free to type a response. And your child you and say, would you love me even if I flunk my exams? Okay, so one way I can respond with, girl, why are you talking like that? You shouldn't be talking like that. I will start to like rebuke and I want to correct you, so on and so forth. But because I've attended Percy sessions on LUV, I will listen, I will understand the situation she's in, and I will move into the next step to validate. So I would, I will validate her feelings. I will, say, I will say that. So I will say lah, but I should say this, that I understand you're currently under tremendous stress. You want to do well for yourself. Maybe you want to do us to meet our expectation. Maybe the school has put a pressure for you. I know this is a time you're just feeling very stressed. And I want to assure you that our love for you will not be determined by the score. I mean, if you score high, that doesn't mean our love will increase for you. Or low, you'll get a lower rating. But our love for you remains the same because you're really God's child. Why would she say such? Is it because at home she doesn't get a lot of affirmation? How often do I affirm my child? Okay, I want to say not as often, but let's try all the time, as often as you can, because as a young person, they are often constantly challenged and asking the question, am I loved? What's my identity? So as parents, do that as often as we can. Okay, and of course, another a good way, to affirm your child, if you know your child's love languages, right? So okay, so these are 5 love languages. You can actually go to this website. Okay, you can actually go to this website to do a quiz. All right, Gary Chapman. Anyway, we'll send the slides to you so you can take a look. Okay, I just want to do this simple activity. Okay, I still have some time. Okay, so this activity says, all right, I want you to key in. Name one thing you think your child would like to hear from you saying to them. Okay, go ahead. Name one thing, okay? What do you think are the top phrases that a young person want to hear from their parents or hear from the youth ministry worker? Okay. Oh, okay. All right, keep it coming, keep it coming. So we actually did a poll with our FemChamps youth in our program. So this is like a collation. Hey, who's that? Okay, so that's a collation over, maybe 100 plus 200 youths. And these are the top 5 things that they would like to hear their parents say to them. I'm proud of you. I love you for who you are. Good job. Well done. I cherish you. I believe in you. Okay, so in the validation, in a part of validation, I think 2 things we can affirm them. I think one is validate their feelings, because you listen, you understand, you use your eyes to see, your ears to hear, your whole body to respond to them, and how they feel. So you can tell them, I can see you're feeling angry right now. Okay? So that's the validation of the feelings. I'm so happy for you. You worked incredibly hard for this. Not just the feelings. I think we also want to validate the person. Like some of you have typed down, right? Let me increase your allowance. Hey, awesome. Give me your handphone number. Okay. Yeah. So yes, I'm sorry. I believe in you. Okay. So there is a place to validate feelings and validate response, right? So in part of our FemChamps program, we do have this FemChamps a family challenge that we actually encourage the youth that live out family. Okay, when you attend the program, go back and think positive at home. You build up that positive relation of family. So our youth will do a family challenge, and then they'll block it. They'll share how they feel. Like for example, this particular child said that last week I proposed the idea of having family bonding time every other month. This was because the previous month we had a number of misunderstandings between us due to the lack of communication. My aim was to improve communication with my family. You see, young people, and this child, I think probably 14 years old, as she may be young, but she understood why family is important and taking the active steps. Now, of course, another one was a child bonded with the dad, through fixing the windows, that spent at 3 hours. They could have just get someone to come in, paid a $400. He was doing better, and the father affirming the child. I think these are really great teaching moments, right? Well, Focus on the Family right now is running a Father's Day campaign, and FemChamps supported that as well. So we do encourage our FemChamps youth to write note of appreciation to their dad, right? So just sharing with you, that our youth are really, they know how to, whatever work, whatever relationship our kids knew it. Sometimes it's really just giving them the platform and encouraging them. So I appreciate my dad because, he has been supporting me and shaping me into a better son. He works hard daily and provides, spending time. And I want to tell my dad this. Okay, I'm thankful to have him share with me many stories and memories, listening to me and understanding my feelings. So Dad, my appeal to you, I think maybe this is something comes naturally for mom. They will tend to listen, but we still have work to work on. But Dad, a young person, your child, appreciate you spending that time, listening to them and understand their feelings. Okay, right. Okay, so I have rushed and hope I save some time for you to ask some questions. But before that, I do want to suggest something. Yes, those who have questions, feel free to type in your questions in the chat board. But I also like to suggest, besides asking me questions, I'd like you to consider a scenario in your home, at home. And I'd like you to start applying the LUV, okay? And then you can type in a chat box, for example. You may say that, whenever my son approaches me, or whenever my son refuses me on this, I will do it. I will do this way differently, right? So it's like you have learned some tips. How will you respond differently in communicating, connecting with your youth, right? So you can do that because when you type in your scenario, how you respond differently. One thing is, I know that I had shared something that makes sense to you. Two, you're actually sharing your experience, and many parents and youth workers here will benefit, as we read your response. And of course, while you do that, I'm going to take a look at some questions that you may ask. How do we? Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, feel free to key in. Think of a situation. It could be your child, refusing a certain request or show a certain level of rebelliousness. But because you understand, you want to take time to understand how would you respond to your child, yeah, differently, right? Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Percy, for that wonderful, inspiring, with full of illustrations and practical tips using LUV. I hope that all of us who have listened in will be able to practice what you have suggested. And yeah, while you look at the questions that have been already sort of sent to you for you to choose, the rest of you, please continue to type in. Okay, we have another question already typing in, quite a few now. But those that you have already been, that you have received, maybe you want to just start to answer one of them first because we don't have a lot of time. Thank you so much, Percy.
Okay, so I do have a few questions here. I want to say that we all come from, okay, so I want to say that our parenting style, the way we respond our kids will be very different because sometimes we are often caught in a situation where we parent the way our parents parent us. So it can be a positive parenting experience. It can be a negative parenting experience, and we may not be able to, respond well to our kids. But all is not lost. I think this is really a learning process. Our roles will, yeah, and of course, we have God, right? Okay, but of course, Jesus is the answer all the time. But of course, I'll answer some practical ways. But at the end of it, I just want to say that in case I don't answer any of the questions, I want to say that the key is really let's pray and get them. Okay, so one of the questions that's asked is, how do you vent your frustration, right, to a young person in a constructive manner? Okay. Okay, my question is, okay, first of all, you must uh, you must have been feeling quite a lot of stress. I think all of us do have a level of frustration. Sometimes it's really beyond control, and so you must have been having a hard time too, right? Try to contain it. So that's why self-care is so important. In fact, I have another deck. I was preparing another deck for this particular call. Beside the LUV, I also have the Stay Sane, SANE. And the number one on it as is really exercise self-care. Yeah, frustration is real. I think probably first you do need to respond to your own situation. But if you're saying that frustration with our kids, same thing as an adult, I felt this is my situation as a mature adult. I will get caught up in this situation, but I will take time out for myself to understand my own emotions and see how I can respond better with it. I think when we are frustrated, when we're in anger, I don't know how we can do it in a constructive manner if you're caught in that kind of situation. Yeah, because then I would suggest that it's better that you take a break and then come back. Or if you need to, hey, the youth leader, the youth worker, the youth pastors, they will be a great person to maybe mitigate something, right? So, yep. Okay, how to, okay. So one is my daughter is very reserved. What can we do to get my daughter to talk to us? Okay, so I think in our families, we'll probably have a child that have a different personality or a different approach. So I think I remember having a conversation with my daughter because one of my daughters, she is I felt like, she's actually an introvert, and not just an introvert, but is the introvert, kind. And so for me, I'm an extrovert. I felt that the way I communicate care is when I spend time with you, I speak with you. But she was like, Mom, don't need.
Okay, that's
If
what-
you want to, I just give you 5 minutes. Okay, so 5 minutes, you just tell me it's good enough for me. I don't need you to do anything more. So I think for a start, there is good that you know what are your child's love language. Maybe you want to talk to her. Maybe begin with her language so that it could be acts of service, just doing something with her, something for her. It could be words of affirmation that it may not be a verbal form. I think we're always taking our steps. So I think as long as your posture as a parent, I love my child and I want to engage. Yeah, so it's really finding different ways. There will be moments, okay. That's how I experience. God often provide moments where I find that it's so difficult to stay connected with her. But God will just break down the barriers, in different situations. Yeah. Okay. So all right. So someone said that how do both parents come to agreement to address or stop their teenage son from smoking? Okay, both parents come to an agreement means that both disagree, right? So probably one of you may feel that that is a terrible habit because it's not just terrible habits; it actually harm his health, right? Maybe another parents view it this way that okay, maybe it's temporal. This is his youth transition rebellious stage. I do need to be patient. Yeah. So I think before yeah, so this is really a parenting issue. So um, yeah, I need to hear more. But I think what I could recommend is that you can also use LUV for your spouse. Learn to listen and understand, why did he say that? Maybe values are different and, validate their feelings first. So I think as parents, we are quite fast to troubleshoot, jump into a situation. Okay. Let me see. Yeah. So as parents, I think we are very quick to troubleshoot because we really felt that, hey, our child is our son is young. We don't want to waste his time away. Maybe he doesn't know. So let's rescue him quickly. So my suggestion will be let's see. Okay, so the situation I felt is very difficult. But can we stay away from this situation first, and then deal with your husband and wife relationship? Because for me, something that I practice is that the when a dad loves a mom and a mom loves a dad, that's the best gift for your child because you know that out of that it comes blessing. It comes the child see that positive role model. With that, it comes some sort of security, safeness. It comes that the role modeling. It allows the child to see that's how a family will look like, a godly family will look like, right? So, yeah, understand it's difficult. I'll probably not be able to address this for a quick solution. Maybe you can send me a text or a message or drop an email for us. Okay. Let me see okay, so David, I have gotten a few of the questions. I hope I have kind of addressed them. Yeah.
I've sent you a few more. I think that you look down, there are a few more.
Look down, okay. So David and I are besides on the few more Cynthia's one, is it?
No, the one I sent. Okay, maybe I can read out to you. I can read it out. In the meantime, maybe you can shift your slide to the next slide. Yeah, just shift, yes.
Okay. Strong relationship with young people don't just happen. That's an awesome phrase, okay? Because really, there's a lot of I just see it as a building blocks within a young person's life because you really will see it. Whatever that you lay in the foundation years, in the primary school, in the preschool, wrestling with them in the teenage years, you see the fruits, when they become the young adults or when when they start a family of their own, they'll see that the values that you have imparted to them, they will continue. Okay.
That's right. So, Percy, let me just pose this question to you. Since you talk about strong relationships with young people don't just happen. So this question, can you suggest some ways to have fun moments with teens at home? Thank you.
Okay. Actually, the best fun moments with teens is when they suggested it. So like in my family, right? I'm always the person quite proactive lah. So I'll suggest a lot of things. Oh, let's do this, let's do that. They're like, Mom, it's very lame. Okay, or I say, let's play this. So there are many ways you can play board games, Okay, of course, think about what your child will enjoy doing and you want to do something enjoyable because that will be fun, right? But sometimes I like to give them the ownership and say, what do you suggest? And moms do it. So recently they suggested that we play this phone app called Cooking Something. I don't know, Overcook or something like that. Yeah, and the instruction is so difficult, but my husband and I, we log in and we play, and they have fun. So really, there are a lot of activities we can do. I think one, identify the interest, and best if the kids suggest it. Well, you may not enjoy it, but you want them to enjoy, right? So let them suggest it. It'll be quite fun. Yeah. Okay, I'm watching the time too. So yes, David, can you prompt me some questions?
All right. Next question. What would you do if you find a particular trait about your child that you find it very difficult to accept? What would you do?
You're asking some questions that tug at my heart too. Okay, so it's a $1 million question. I think you need to come for a separate session to hear this. Nah, just kidding. Okay, so maybe let me be a little bit naughty. What would you do if, or what would your spouse do actually if they find a trait that is so difficult in you? Or what would you do if you found a trait that is so difficult in your spouse? I think probably the principle applies. Yeah, so for me, definitely, I think this LUV is a foundation, is a framework for us to work through, because remember I was saying the starting point is we're not solving a problem. Our child is not a problem. Youth is not a problem. They can be a solution to build strong families and to do many other things. So I think first is really that relationship. So there's this saying that, without relationship, the youth will rebel. Yeah, so relationship, communications, they're all important foundation. Yeah, so do reach out to us. I understand this is a very real situation, but looking at time, I probably can't address this as well. But let's stay connected. Yeah, let's stay connected about our family. Drop them an email and we see how we could take it offline.
Yes, so Percy, thank you so much for answering some of those questions and for your very lively